cap removed and placed over the heart from the beginning prayers to the POWMIA ceremony, concluding with the Pledge of Allegiance. Chaplain, do I have a chaplain here today? Would you do an opening prayer for us?
Will do. O God, as we begin this class, we seek thy counsel and guidance. Inspire us with thy wisdom, direct us and sanctify us by thy presence. Teach us to serve you as you deserve, to give and not count the cost, to toil and not seek for rest, to labor and not ask for reward, save that of knowing that we do your will. Give us the power to believe in ourselves and in what we can do, what we can be, and what we are. May the grace of God be with us all. Excuse me. Amen.
Amen. Resolution 288, adopted at the 66th National Convention, calls for the placement of a POWMIA chair at all official meetings of the American Legion as a physical symbol of the thousands of American POWMIA still unaccounted for from all wars and conflicts involving the United States. This is a reminder for all of us to spare no effort to secure the release of any American prisoners from captivity, the repatriation of the remains of those who died bravely in defense of liberty, and the full accounting of those missing. Let us rededicate ourselves to this vital endeavor. Sergeant at Arms, would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Recover. We will now recite in unison the preamble to our Constitution. For God
And country, we associate ourselves together for the following purposes: to uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States of America, to maintain law and order, to foster and perpetuate a 100% Americanism, to preserve the memories and incidents of our associations in all wars, to inculcate a sense of individual obligation to the community, state, and nation, to combat the autocracy of both the classes and the masses, to make right the master of might, to promote peace and goodwill on earth, to safeguard and transmit to posterity the principles of justice, freedom, and democracy, to consecrate and sanctify our comradeship by our devotion to mutual helpfulness.
You may be seated. Hello, everybody. I want to welcome everybody to Infantry Training today. There is an agenda sheet in the back. Like I said, we're going to modify it a little bit. There's a lot going on in the district today. We're going to try to get some people to their destination. Last year, we made a decision that we should be doing our training just before the new officers are coming to their position. One of the things that we learned over the years is that a lot of times new officers come in and they have really no idea what it is that their duties are to begin with. Now, in this class, in this 2.5 hours, we're not going to be able to cover everything that a commander does, a finance officer does, a admin does. But hopefully we'll give you enough information that you'll be able to start hit the ground running on your first day of this and understand that it is still a learning process. It is a learning process. Training is a very important part of what we do. It is how you learn to get better at what you do. You see all sorts of colors, hats in here, and all of us started not knowing what we were doing. And if they tell you any different, you know the end of that. So at this time, the first presenter is our commander, our district commander, Commander Perez, and she will be doing a presentation on commander training today. Commander, thank you.
Okay, I'm going to start it off right. Everybody that's wearing a cover, please do me a favor. Take your covers off. Today we're here to learn. It's not about our positions. I want you guys, number one, I think each and every one of was that we were supposed to be doing. I was the canteen manager. Post commander came to me and he said, "You're the next post commander." And I looked at him and I was like, "There's no way possible." He said, "You do it already." Because I take my job seriously. I care about each and every one of you guys sitting in here and each and every one of our members that are part of our organization. If we don't take care of them, no one will, right? It's our charge. So today we are going to focus on our purpose as post commanders, how to prepare as a post commander, resources that you should use and have with you at all times, and how to run an effective meeting. Crucial, very crucial. We certainly cannot go in depth in each of these areas, but we will cover things that you should know and learn to make you a successful post commander. How many post commanders, by show of hands, do I have in here? Okay, how many inspired to be a post commander? I love it. I love it. I have past post commanders in here. Raise your hands. So you've got a lot of knowledge in here. So that was what, if you take anything away from this today, this is a great opportunity for you to network. Don't be afraid to talk to each other, because that's the only way you're going to be successful. Please note that this course is not designed on surviving your term as a post commander, but to establish a foundation for an effective and successful term in the position. A successful post commander is focused on being a leader, not a caretaker of a post. Each and every one of you that are here today, you have a responsibility. And your responsibility, you may not be the post commander, but your responsibility is to the post commander. You've got to hold them responsible. Leaders look into the future. They work on continuous improvement of post operations and program management, and take pride in moving the post forward. Caretakers merely try to survive from one year to another. So to be a successful post commander, each and every one of you guys should be writing this down. A successful post commander is honest, they have ambition, they're enthusiastic, be curious, always be there, try to find more of what you can learn. Be poised, self-confident, that is a hard one. That is a hard one for a lot of us. Know the programs, and you know what? Fake it till you make it. I'm going to tell you right now, look the part, you act the part, right? You dress for success. So what do you do first? Can someone answer me, what is the first thing you should do as a post commander?
Pray.
That's not it. I never had that one. Pray. Okay, pray first. You know me, I'm going to add that. Okay, after you pray, what are you going to do? Read your CDLs, right? You're going to read your CDLs. You're going to read your previous minutes. You're going to look at your finance reports. You're going to educate yourself on the post history. Are you going to come in and change things overnight?
Nope.
That is probably the worst thing you can do as a post commander, incoming post commander. Yes, you may be a member of that post, but you need to sit back as the post commander, and you need to listen. You need to watch what's going on. And you start taking bites of the elephant, one bite at a time. So successful post commanders are proud of what they have done, and more than likely are more enthusiastic and motivated to contribute to the Legion at a higher level. Successful post commanders generally become knowledgeable and successful district commanders who often turn into a department officer. Welcome, Commander. So how many posts do we have throughout our organization. Now let me ask you this question, are all posts alike?
No.
What works for post 137, is it gonna work for 37? Maybe, that was a good answer. Maybe, but understand, not all posts are cookie cutter, right? We're all different. So you're gonna read your Constitution and bylaws, you're gonna review your minutes, so you can learn the history, review your financial reports, and communicate with other people. Network. So, I have Commander Bob Brewster. Can you tell me what is unique or different about your post? Post 373.
We have a lot of people attend our meetings, per se. Like when I had your job, I attended a meeting with close to 1,300. They had 3 people at their meeting.
Critical. Very true. I got post 197. Can you please tell me what's unique about your post?
Well, unquote, people think that 197, they look look on the party hat, but they don't actually see what other things we actually do. Basically, that's how we get the majority of our revenue. But basically, everybody see how can I say it? Can't even use the word. But everything is a party place, but it's not all a party place because we do other things at 197.
So you guys started something new a couple years ago. And such as, no other post, you got post 244 that's going to be doing something similar. And what do you do at your post that is not happening at any post throughout our organization?
We're in conglomerate now with Mayo and Blue Cross and Blue Shield, so we provide the services for the community. We like a hub. Instead of patients going out to Mayo, they can come at post 197, and the doctors can assess them and provide services for those patients, /clients, or veterans, and within the community.
That's pretty awesome. I think we're starting something here in the district. Denny, what's unique about post 316?
Danny? Oh, that was a question, I'm sorry.
316 is ran by the old guard, and if you are new guard, you're not welcome.
So we have something that they're working towards, right? We got to move and preserve our organization. We can take care for the next 100 years, right? That's our charge. So review your post-consolidated reports, right? Who here doesn't know what that big long word is? Don't be afraid to raise your hand. Okay, I'm gonna pick on you.
Is that
Okay, so you don't know what it is. So a post-consolidated report is where we gather all our information that we have actually done throughout the entire year, and we submit it to national and department. And that is how, when we go to Washington, D.C., and we advocate, and we stand in front of our legislators, and we're fighting for veterans' rights and benefits, that's where we get our voice from. Okay?
Is that specific to each post?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Every post is going to do something a little bit different, right? You've got post 37, post 373, they don't have a post home. So they don't have a lounge, they don't have places necessary that they can do certain things that look at post 137. They've got a pool, they've got a tiki hut, they've got all kinds of things. So it is. Every post will do their own post consolidated report. And it's huge. It's
beyond the legal portion of it, it tells you what your post membership and how they want their post run. Every post constitution and bylaws is unique to that post. There's things that are going to be in the post 137 that are not going to be in 37s. There's certain things that have to be in all of them, and there's uniqueness to all of them, and those are the wishes of the membership. Membership decides what's in there.
Denny.
Yeah, to go along with the CBO, you will also have your house rules or standing rules for your posts. You need to be well versed in those also, because they will give you insight on how to deal with the daily dealings within the posts that come up.
Absolutely. So it's going to tell you your responsibilities as officers. It's going to tell you how you're going to elect your officers, when you're going to elect your officers, programs that your post participates in, and how we manage those programs, facility operations, your house rules, your committee, what your executive committee is responsible for. Very important to understand your constitution and bylaws. Each and every one of you should go back to your post. If you are not familiar with your constitution and bylaws, you need to ask for a copy. You need to read it. You need to read it again, and you need to read it again. I promise you. Sometimes it goes right over our heads. Yes,
You
Commander.
mentioned exactly how, I think at one time, department required like every 3 years
Yes.
to go over your bylaws, and just as a point of interest with us, we had to make some changes to ours, and it's taken us over a year and almost a year and a half to get them back. And then when we got them back, we still had to make a number of changes, and just ours alone was, what was it, Scoop, 52 different changes or something?
55.
Yeah. So just as a point of interest, to any commanders in here or new commanders, that might be one of the first things you might want to take on is your house rules and your bylaws, because it'll take you a while if you got to make some changes.
Absolutely. Bill?
And the biggest difference between your constitutional bylaws and house rules is your house rules are approved by your membership at the post. The constitutional bylaws are approved by the judge advocate of the Department of Court.
Well, after they're approved by the membership,
Right.
okay? If they kick them back to you, they have to be approved again by the membership. So at no point in time do we bypass the membership in that process.
Okay, so I keep hearing membership, membership, membership. Let me ask you, as a post commander, are you a dictator?
No.
Who has the decision making?
Membership does.
Membership. And you remember that as a post judge advocate, as a post adjutant finance officer. You remember to hold your officers responsible. And you have no authority, none. It is your post membership, and so many times, even as a district commander, we have posts that I am addressed. Why does our post commander tell us what we're going to do? No. Okay, so understand the overall health of your post. What goals do you have? What goals does your post have? What goals do you have as a post commander? Huge. Huge, huge, huge. What Your post home should be a place that exhibits Legion values and be that defined home that the community recognizes. It must create a positive image of the Legion and the Legion's contributions to the community. The American Legion was created with a local post and community as its foundation. Public relations is vital at all levels of the American Legion. Again, what does the community think about your post? The vast majority of communities only interact with the local post. In their eyes, the post is the American Legion. Image is everything. So, are you prepared to leave the post? Do you know your post members? Do you understand the Legion's values and purposes? And how much do you know about the Legion's programs? What post activities and membership, posts with meaningful activities have an easier time attracting new members and retaining current members, right? If you're engaging your membership, whether it be doing dishes, taking out the trash, they're going to continue to come back. Our younger generation today, what do they want to do? Do they want to sit in the canteen and drink? Younger generation, seriously. I mean, this is what we're faced with. The younger generation, they want to focus on their family. And if they want to join the American Legion, they want to be active. They don't want to be sitting at that canteen. So essential tools that you need to have with you. Officer's Guide, Manual of Ceremonies. Every new post commander will receive one of those when they take their office from the department. Have a copy of your post constitution and bylaws. What are we doing with those? We're reading them, right? We're updating them if they haven't been updated in 3 years. The department administrative manual. Robert's Rules of Order. Why is that important?
If you don't use that, your meetings get out of control.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm gonna straight tell you, Robert's Rules of Order, have you seen the book? I'm sorry, I did not bring it with me today, but it is this thick, and good luck trying to read it. Good luck trying to read it. But they have a short version that breaks down everything that you need to know how to run a successful meeting. Abstinence Guide. Why is that important?
All forms and things that need to be filled out and proper etiquette of how we're going to do it all.
Absolutely. And the action is generally the commander's what? Right hand man. Very important. Very important. Understand the district commander's duties and responsibilities, right? Get to know your district officers. I was quick to take my cover off. Why? Because I'm just one of you. I just raised my right hand and I took on a little bit more responsibility. That's it. And that's because I care about this organization. Get to know them. They're here to make you successful. Because if you're not successful as a post, your district commander, district officers are not successful either. Okay. This is very interesting. Post commander's rules. It's role, sorry. Positive attitude. If you have a negative commander, you think that people are going to want to join your post? No. They're going to walk right out that door. Have high energy, right? You got to interact with your people. Enthusiasm, passion, knowledge. So post commander's role, be honest, this above all, to thine own self be true, and it will follow as the night of the day. Be ambitious. An ambitious person wants to improve things that can and should be improved by him enjoys life. You don't always have to be, but when you're in front of your members, you have to be. Be curious. Dig into your post history. Self-confident, we've already talked about that at one point, right? It's hard to be self-confident. Was I nervous before I came here today? Absolutely. I was talking to my husband and I was like, I'm so nervous. And he's like, seriously? You got this. No. You know what? I don't want to do you a disservice. Look in the park. Key. Take care of your people. Who here does not know about the Billy Award? The Billy Award. Okay, we had the commander last year and this year have really hit this home. So Billy Awards are awards that you can actually request from your district commander to actually praise one of your members, one of your volunteers. They don't have to be a member of the American Legion. Someone that goes above and beyond. Someone that's always there to help, as simple as it is taking out trash. It's a way for you to say thank you for what you're doing. I don't believe, me personally, I don't want a certificate. I don't want an award because that's me. But reality is, when you bring a person up in front of your group and you give them an award and say thank you for going above and beyond, they're generally going to do more for you. So recognize those who do good things. Praise in public, criticize in private. Very important. Very important. So submit your post for awards. We are at that time of the year, right? You're going to get your post-consolidated reports that we talked about already. And in this packet, it's going to have a litany of awards that you can submit your post for. The most underutilized thing that we do. Now, there are some posts in the 5th District that go above and beyond when it comes to showcasing their posts and being proud of what their post has done. Post 137, I'm going to say, you are one of those posts.
Thank you, Commander.
Post 283 is another one of those posts. They are not afraid to brag about what their post has done. Yes.
This was told me back when I was junior high school. Teacher told me, first off, if you don't brag about yourself, nobody else will. And don't talk bad about yourself. So, more you write, better you sound, better you look.
Very important. Very important. I think I skipped a slide. No, I didn't. So we heard it already, right? Running an effective meeting is critical. Your members have no clue what you're gonna talk about, and you're not gonna stay on track. Get these agendas out to your posts or to your membership prior to your meeting, so they can look at the agenda and they can say, huh, I don't know about that. I think I want to go to that meeting. It may encourage them. Send out reminders. Remember that we are all volunteers. Most of us in here still work full-time jobs. By a show of hands, raise your hands. Who here holds a full-time job? We're volunteers. You hold too. Send out reminders because we forget. We're human. We're human. Generally, your sergeant at arms is going to set up your room for you. Make sure you know how it's supposed to be set up and you set it up properly. Unless you are fortunate enough to have a big enough post home that, guess what? Your meeting room is always set up. Post 88, I was just thinking of, so, trying to think.
Basically
250, post 283. You guys always are ready to go at any given time. Parliamentary procedures, this kind of goes hand in hand with Robert's Rules of Order. Make sure, so you keep an orderly process, you expedite business, you get it done. Keep the organization focused on its goals and principles. Do not let someone take over your meeting. If you do, you've lost it. And we've already said, understand the basics, Robert's Rules of Order. So what's the uniform of the day? Your cover. Absolutely. That is the American Legion's uniform. If you are on our group text message yesterday that I reminded everybody, I know Garcia was happy because I generally dress up in dresses and suits, and that's what I was taught. That's what my mentor taught me. And he said, "What's the uniform of the day?" I was like, "Business casual." He's like, "I like it. I like it." Cell phone etiquette. Make sure your cell phones are turned off during the meetings. Do not answer a call in a meeting unless you've already talked to your post commander and your sergeant at arms, and you have an emergency, something coming up. You step out and you take that call. Make sure you know how to ask questions or make comments during a meeting. Know when to speak. This is probably, if you learn anything today from what I spoke about, it's this slide. So the commander's role, take charge, stay in charge. Ensure everyone is allowed to speak. Keep your discussions on track. Keep your meetings on track. Save new or unrelated business for the final part of the meeting, and that is called for the good of the Legion. Very important, but give everybody a voice. So we open. Who here can tell me about opening a post meeting? So I've got very experienced people in here, and I have some. Post 37. Tell me how you're going to open a meeting.
You ask the sergeant officer to close the doors, secure the doors. Everyone stand up. Say, let the captain give a prayer. Your hands. The sergeant officer also puts out the POW, excuse me, the POW sign. We read the preamble and we start the meeting.
Okay. So we salute, good job, salute the colors, right? But very important for us to know it off the top of our head. Understand how you you are going to open a meeting, how you're going to close a meeting. The preamble is huge. Never start a meeting without reciting your preamble. Understand what it is that you're saying. So you're going to call the meeting to order. You're going to introduce your guests. You're going to do your finance report. And then your committee reports. You're going to talk about what your unfinished business. We always have unfinished business. Always. New business. Sometimes we have new business, sometimes we don't have new business. Train your members. Feed them a little bit at a time. Give them those tidbits of knowledge. And then for good of the Legion, anybody can speak at that time. Okay? And it's positive. It's not negative. Make sure your members know when to bring and where to go with negative things. General Assembly is not the place for airing dirty laundry. So then we close our meeting. Close it in prayer. The recovery of the POW-MI flag. We salute, and then we adjourn. Please, please, please understand how to run a proper meeting. We have the sign-in sheet. Is there emails on the sign-in sheet? I didn't pay attention.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to send each and every one of you guys my cheat sheet. So you guys literally will know what you are supposed to do, when you're supposed to do, and you can edit it at any time as we progress through the years. Your 5th district officers, your department officers, so on and so forth. So you are successful as post commanders. Give it to your post commanders if you're not a post commander, right? Hey, you know what? I went to training and the district commander gave me this. You may be able to use it, you may not be able to use it. But give them that opportunity. So, successful post commanders become knowledgeable district. We've already talked about this, and I don't know why it's here, so I apologize. Okay. Can you read bullet point number 1, please? Yeah.
It says you cannot do it all.
Bullet point number 2, please.
No one is indispensable.
Bruce, can you do number 3?
We are all volunteering time and talents.
Brewster, can you do number 4?
Everyone in the group must be involved.
Silva, number 5.
Encourage, teach, mentor, and develop.
Mentor your replacements. Mentor your people. We're preserving our organization for what? The next generation and the next generation. Scooby, number 6.
Believe in yourself. Believe in yourself.
Pat, number 7.
Delegate and empower.
fire extinguisher certificate, and then put a tab on them when they're due. Okay? And I gotta say, go to other establishments in your immediate area and see what certificates they have hanging up on the wall. For instance, entertainment license or certificate, right? Most people, a lot of us, I didn't even know there was such a thing until I went into another establishment and I looked up and it was like, oh, what's this? Okay. So then we got it. But go ahead and get that notebook. Review your insurance. Decide what kind of insurance you want. And then review to make sure you have it. Again, put a little sticky on a sheet of paper that says when that insurance is due. I recommend a minimum you have liability insurance, liquor liability insurance, property damage insurance, D&O insurance, what do you call it? Unemployment, what is that called? Workers' comp. Yeah, workers' comp insurance, right? At a minimum, those, if you got extra money, get flood insurance. But that is one thing that will bite you in the butt more than anything else, is if you don't know what's required of your post and when it's due, that fire marshal can walk in, look up and say, nah, you're out of date, I'm shutting your door. Same thing with insurance. They can walk in your post and go, oh, wow, your fire extinguisher's out of date, we're gonna shut you down. So make a little tickler file, get a notebook, get a copy of those documents, put them in there and put a due date on them.
Very important. Ashton's do a lot of that work. Your finance officers do a lot of that work as well, but it is the post commander's responsibility to know these things. So,
Is there any way we can get a copy of what you just had up there?
absolutely, and I'll send you my notes. I have like 16 pages of notes.
Thank you.
Yeah, the other thing I would throw out as a past commander is the values that you project are the values they will follow. It means you have to hold yourself accountable to them. The other thing I would throw out there is you're not pouring concrete. You're going to make mistakes. Learn from them, admit them, and grow from them. Don't be afraid to make, if you're not making mistakes, you're not trying hard enough.
Amen.
Okay, so don't be afraid, just be honest. Say, hey, I tried this, it didn't work. Move on to the next thing. Some of them are gonna work. That's gonna make your post better.
Any other comments?
Okay.
Okay.
Man,
Sorry.
one of
Yes.
the things that they're trying to do with national, you know, they still have the CD-ROMs. Well, anybody got a CD-ROM still in their laptop, let me know. They're changing them over to zip drives, finally. They finally, I guess they must have had too many left over and didn't want to change over. So they are changing over to zip drive with all the documentation. Get one. It's $3.95, something like that. That's what the CD-ROMs are. I'm assuming they're going to be approximately the same price right now. But it's the best thing in the world that you can have for all your information and stuff like that. And it doesn't matter where you go. You know, I mean, you're at home, you're at somebody's house, and somebody says, oh, they did something great. Plug it in, print it out, and you're good to go. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, this is what I'm going to leave you with. And this is huge. I think this is probably going to be my platform until the day I walk away. So you all received a little bag. And in it, it has the story of a starfish. Understand, you make a difference. Once upon a time, there was an old wise man walking on the beach. Suddenly, he saw a boy who was reaching his hands into the beach, picking up something and throwing it into the sea. He continued to approach and ask, good morning, may I ask what it is that you are doing? The young boy paused and replied, throwing starfish into the sea. The old man was a little puzzled, and the young man said, the tide is going out. If I don't throw them in, just made a difference for that one. Understand, just like Jerry said, you're gonna make mistakes. People are gonna be naysayers, but you just make a difference in one life at a time, and do not give up. God bless.
We're going to modify the agenda here. So at this time, I'd like to introduce Melissa Hostetler. She's Financial Officer of Post 88. And she was going to be enlightening us on how to save your money.
She's in her checkbook?
What's the point?
Yeah, I just want to background. I was past commander at 88. I am now the current elected finance officer. But we have a unique way that we manage it. One of the things that makes us unique is how we manage our finances. In the past, prior to my becoming commander, we just elected anybody who wanted to be finance officer. The problem with that is when I took over, we were nearly broke. And there was a lot of backbiting about this person's stealing, that person's stealing, and all these other issues going on. You know, and all these towns like, bring me some proof and I'll get them out of the legion. Short of proof, anybody can teach anybody anything. Incompetence is not illegal. But we went down a step farther and we said, okay, the financial officer has to have a finance background or has to have a strong business background. At the time, we didn't have anyone. So, with membership, we decided we were going to hire a finance officer, small F, somebody to oversee him as elected finance officer, which is my role. And we were lucky enough to get Melissa, who has a master's in finance. Our finances as a post are doing very, very well. We are held accountable. All I do is report the finances, monitor them, advise the commander and the executive committee on spending, things like that, and audit. That's it. And it works for us because, again, anybody can be elected. You know, we see politicians all the time. Just because you get the vote doesn't mean you do the job. So I'm just going to listen.
Thank you. And welcome to Finance Officer Training. As Jerry said, I'm going on almost 40 years of doing the Finance Officer at Legion 88. Here we go. So the Finance Officer roles and responsibilities. Everywhere you look in the Legion guidelines, the only explanation that it will give you is the Legion defines this as a position for a person's proven integrity and experience in handling financial affairs. There is no list of how-tos or how to put anything together. And when I was given this position, it was kind of handed to me, and I looked everywhere for a set of guidelines to show me what needed to be done, what time needed to be done. And as Jerry said, I was appointed by the commander and approved by the executive committee, and I am paid, and I work with Jerry monthly to send him all the reports and monthly audits, monthly responsibilities, writing checks, paying invoices, banking, expenses, deposits, tracking expenses is the biggest so that we know what we're spending money on. Working in connection with our accountant, which I'll get into that later. I'm not sure how many other posts use an accountant to do their reports. Licenses and certificates regardless, and that's just to ensure that payments aren't being made to somebody that shouldn't be paid. We currently have 5 Legion members that are authorized signers. Actually, I think they're all executive members.
Yes, they are. They're all officers.
Yes. And what makes my life easy is the people that are picked, that are my signers, live or work within like 4 miles of our post. So if there's ever an issue where we need something done quickly, call them up and have them there in a heartbeat. For reoccurring monthly payments, when I had taken over, everything was being written by check and invoices were coming up missing in the mail and things were late because people would get there, nobody's there 24/7. So when I took over about 6 months into it, all the every day, every month bills, electric, cable, internet, security system, that kind of stuff, I had logged in. Everything is set up on auto pay. I receive emails 3 to 5 days before they're being pulled out of the account. Now our beer and liquor invoices, we also used to write checks and have to have them sitting there. I don't know how all the other posts work, but no check, no beer, no liquor. Well, I had spoke with a few of the vendors, and they had turned me on to, it's called FinTech. And if anybody needs any information at the end, come see me. But it's actually a alcohol system, to say the least, that you log in, create everything. They have a list of vendors that there's probably hundreds, maybe 500. You pick who you use and it puts them in your queue. You set up your bank account information with them, and when your beer or liquor orders get delivered, they just click it on their little system when you sign their tag, and 14 days later, auto pay it out of your account, and you never have to worry about being shut off or any of those sorts. Yeah, I can't lose the beer and the liquor. Bank account, expenses and deposits. Our post, we have 3 separate accounts, which makes it easy for tax purposes and just reporting. We have our bar account. All expenses paid from this include just everyday operating costs, utilities, bar supplies, maintenance, kitchen supplies, food for anything, pretty much cost of goods sold, pretty much. Deposits, the only deposits that go in this account are any profits made from bar sales, liquor, food, any of those sorts. Our charity account is for donations only, and that also includes food donations. We do a lot with, we used to do stuff with the USO and the needy families for Christmas and Thanksgiving.
Daniel.
Now, deposits that go into this account, and I'm not sure, I've been to a few posts, but of course, pool tabs, favorite thing. And our bingo, that's where our money comes from for all of our charity. Membership accounts, when we first started, it didn't have a very high balance, and when they pool that money, they pool it whether, so we had to come up with sat down and talked, Jerry and I, and we try to never let that account go below $2,800. Now, I know some of the posts are way bigger than we are, so you might need to set that higher, double, maybe even triple. But it just lessens people's memberships getting kicked back and then them coming to you asking why,
Yeah, and because I promise you this, if you enter somebody in electronically, and register them, before you get to the other end of the building, that money's gone from your account.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what ticked us, all of a sudden, we got NSF fees, and it's like, come on, we got money here. Literally, I mean, you will not get out of the room before that money's gone.
Yeah, if it's done on a Friday.
It may take you weeks to get it back from them, but it's,
Real quick. Just, to tell you how important that is, when we reestablished the post and we had to restart that account, that membership account, they don't just take your money out quickly, they also email you when that thing bounces. And I know that because we were just starting out and over a mistake that we made, how it was being moved around, because we're moving our money back and forth that we shouldn't have. We learned the hard way when we had to redo all of them, and you start from the beginning again. Because once that happens, they wait until that first transfer, and I'm just telling you, don't let that happen. It's not a good thing. It's horrible.
And with the, of course, the only thing that is paid out of this account is the membership dues. Deposits are payments for membership only, and I finally got it set up probably before Christmas. I downloaded our banking app, so that, because some of these members, they write checks and they need them cashed quickly. So I got it downloaded that I can do the mobile scans, and then members' checks are processed instantly so that there is no question, so you don't have to run to the bank every other day for a member check. And it seems to be working because I haven't had any complaints. So tracking the expenses and reporting, and this is what I send to the meetings and our accountant for Jerry. This is just a quick, smaller screenshot. At the end of every month, I download all the bank statements in Excel for all 3 accounts. And then I create a column for the description. Bar supplies, entertainment, payroll, kitchen supplies, we have computer supplies, printing, anything of that sort. So I use it for our knowledge, but also we use an accountant that does our P&L at the end of every month, and I'm not sure if anybody else has that too. I send her, once I do my part, and I didn't put it on here because I wasn't sure how many people use the accountant. But ours, it's really simple. She has a client porthole that I scan in all the debit receipts, check stubs, check receipts, and I can scan them with my phone and I'll upload to her, and I code them all with the descriptions, and then she'll put them all in QuickBooks and upload a P&L and send it to me. I started taking my sheet that I split down, and then on the right-hand side you can see her P&L, and then comparing to make sure that what I'm sending her, she's sending me back, because multiple times I got a P&L back, and it was in the red $26,000, because somebody accidentally added 6s and 0s in the wrong. Oh, yeah. I didn't want to send them to the meeting and everybody have a heart attack in the meeting.
You should have done it anyway.
And,
thanks for that.
and then too, if I do it this way, and they would like a better breakdown of like our maintenance, because she'll just clump everything under maintenance where I have lawn or pest control. That way, if they want to know where exactly the money's going, I can just pull it up and send it on a note with Jerry when he goes in there, or written on the paper. That way he can explain to the members. License and certificates.
liquor licensing now, as of this year, and print it out. I just did it last week.
Oh,
You print
okay.
the liquor license out while you're sitting there and go hang it on the wall.
Yeah, ours is due in September, so that'll make it easy for me to do it. And another one that I didn't put on here, but our insurance. I also have it set in my calendar for about 2 weeks prior, and I emailed the lady so that she sends me the invoice so that it's out there in time, because we had also problems with that being late when we didn't know when things were due. That is all I have. Is there any questions, concerns, ideas, comments?
I want to know the job. He doesn't even want this one. He won't let her go.
You have a question?
Could we get your email or either your number, so we,
Are all the American Legions under the same, tax,
ID number?
type thing? Yeah, like the 3 or 5 day?
They should be all.
Okay.
Not all, because that happened when we had some, issues with liquor permits and getting back in line. I don't know if you remember, but you got C, whatever versus. Yeah.
American Legion is a C.
It really depends on how you're supposed to set up and what it is you're supposed to do and does not have. Listen.
yes, I just need to get her email address if I need to have a question. I got a question.
I have a question. Heidi has a question.
Go ahead.
Do finance personnel have to be bonded through the state? Is that a requirement of the American Legion?
We have never been told that.
Thousands
No.
of dollars, no? You don't have to be bonded?
It's good to be. It's not,
I'm gonna tell you right now, in the CYA world,
Yeah.
everybody that handles money should be bonded,
yeah.
Amen.
period. Because I'm gonna tell you, we don't mean to make mistakes, but you need to bond all your officers, and it is very inexpensive to do.
Commander, unless something has changed, if you have a post-insurance program, under the post-insurance program, all people who handle the money, your bartenders, your finance officer, and all of your officers are bonded up to $10,000.
Check into it. Check into it. Do not assume anything.
Yeah.
Anybody have any more questions?
No, I'm glad you guys are touching on that because I have an article from Yahoo News, and I'll just read the title and then you can sum it up. It says, former commander of American Legion, Post 744, Cincinnati, Ohio, indicted, accused of stealing nearly $100,000 using Post credit cards. So this is why that's very important.
Yeah.
It happens every day, guys. And it's really a sad thing.
The,
So,
the other thing I'll throw out, when I get the P&L, we include that with the meeting agenda, so that all members can get it, look at it, because in the past, we had a commander who would read the numbers, and I'm pretty good with numbers, but come on, it's not gonna happen. So we put them out before the meeting, so everybody gets a chance to look at them, and ask questions about them. And then after the meeting, we put them on the bulletin board. Because, again, it gets back to it's not your money, it's the members' money, and they need to know what's going on with it at any point in time. So it goes right on the bulletin board until next month when we put the next one up there. And we've been doing that for years and years and years, and it will cut down on discussion, it will cut down on the backbiting at the bar, and all the other stuff, because it's there. It's there. So I would just advise, it's a good step to take.
Okay, if there's no further questions from Melissa, how about we take a quick 5-minute break?